Okay, let me know when you see my screen. So first thing, okay, we need to install different software, right? So first we need to install Python software, and Python you will get it from python.org. Okay, so everyone, you will in your dashboard you will find videos of older classes, and also you'll find PDF. Okay, so first I would suggest that go through PDF first. Okay, later you can watch videos. Videos can take you time. You know, would probably have about 10 to 15 hours of videos, so it will take you time to go through. So first, go through. Let me close my. Yes. So first go through the PDF. PDF one has some history about Python. Okay, it's good to read, and then it will also talk about different softwares that we need to install. Okay, so the first software that we need to install is Python, of course, right? So when you go to python.org and you go to downloads, you can see Python 3.9.7. Okay, so I would suggest not to download 3.9. Okay, click on Windows. Okay, and download Python 3.8. Okay, 3.8 is older version, so it is more stable than Python 3.9. Okay, so you have Python 3.8.12. This should also be okay. So you can download. Okay, this is for Windows, right? Okay, so download this one. So you have source release zip file. All, click on all releases. Okay, and then you can click on Windows, and here you see Python 3.10 is also there. These are beta version. They are going to launch, I think I think today is the launch. Today or tomorrow is the launch of Python 10. Okay, but don't install Python 10 yet. Go with Python 3.8. Okay, so maybe you can download this one, Windows installer. Okay, any one of these you can install depending upon which machine you are using. Most probably everybody uses, if your laptop is new, then install Python installer, this one. Install it, and double click to run it. Okay, and once you run it, okay, the first screen, it will ask you to add to the environment variable class path. So add that. Okay, it's all instructions there in the PDF, so please follow and get your machine ready. Now tell me, everybody has, do you have install, I mean, have you installed Python yet or no?
Sir, I have installed it, sir.
Sir.
Okay, Shivani,
No, sir.
हाँ, आप install कर लो, and make sure that it is working fine. So Karthik and Shashi, is it working?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So once you install this, okay, next one is you need to install IDE. Okay, so I prefer PyCharm IDE, PyCharm, and you can say PyCharm download, and there are multiple other IDEs. Okay, that the PDF has note about it, so you can refer the note. But my personal favorite is PyCharm. So when you say PyCharm download, it will take you to download page, and you will see two options here: community and professional. Click on the community one. This is free. This is for us to learn, okay, do training, and this is to develop, enterprise application. So almost same feature, okay, absolutely no different feature. Okay, we don't need to do HTML, JS. So okay, so this is good. Okay, so install this, okay, and then we will be doing programming in that. So okay, so Shivan, I know you have to install it. So आप आज कर लो install. Karthik and Sashikala, have you installed PyCharm also?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Sashikala, I didn't hear from you.
No, sir.
Okay, download Python. So, which IDE did you use before in college? Did you use any IDE in the college for doing programs? How did you do programs?
Not like that, sir.
Did you use any IDE? Did you use any editor in your MCA class? Which software did you use to do program in MCA class? Okay, so yeah, maybe okay. So do this. Okay, get these two software ready. Tomorrow also we'll meet at same time. Okay. So any question you have, please let me know. Okay. If you are facing any problem, okay, so you'll have to wait till tomorrow to get clarified. But meanwhile, what you can do is you can use Google Colab, collab.research.google.com. This is the link. Okay. When you click on this, it will, it is a software, online software provided by Google. For this, we don't have to install anything. Only thing is you have to connect to internet to work. Okay. So you go to collab.research.google.com and it will open a window like this and you can say new notebook. Okay. Click on new notebook. For today, what I'll do is I'll work here so that you guys can also see how this works. The new notebook will open a notebook and this program will be saved in your Google Drive. Best thing. Okay. You need, of course, you need to connect using it. Will ask you Gmail username password, and you will get connected to um, uh, Google account, and the program will be saved in your Google Drive. So you can say here, okay. So by default, it will have untitled one. You can select and change the name. You can say prog1, something like this. Okay, and this editor will be ready. Okay, and I'll show you how to do program here. Okay, so you have two types of generally editor. Okay, one which will give you a program in .py, okay, Python file. So Python file is pure file. Okay, it will have only the code. Okay, and output will be on some other screen. Okay, PyCharm is like that. Then you have a notebooks, we call them. Notebooks will give you the output immediately. Okay, it will not it will not have any other extra screen. Okay, so so either way is fine. Okay, it doesn't matter which ID you use, whichever you are comfortable with, you can use same thing. Okay, so here we go and write. I'm going to type our first program. Okay, um, I'm going to type our first program. Okay, and first command that we're going to learn is called print. Print is a command, is a function, in fact. Okay, function means it's an inbuilt code. The code somebody has already written for us. Okay, and we don't want to know what's the code. We are only going to use that function. Okay, so later class we will see how to write our own functions. We'll learn how to write our own user defined functions. But for now, we will be using some of the inbuilt function to do our job. So print is the first inbuilt function that we're going to do. So when we write print, okay, since it's a function is always followed with this bracket, simple bracket. Okay, print functions are always followed with this bracket set of simple bracket, open and close. So it's a print, open and close. Okay. So thing is, when I am doing right in the class, please don't practice or please don't make any note of it. Okay, everything is there in the PDF. Okay, just concentrate and watch what I'm doing. Okay, watch my screen. If you are trying to um, when you're trying to see my screen and write on your screen, you might miss important stuff. Okay, so I don't want you to practice parallelly with me. Don't practice parallelly. You see what I'm doing, and later the class is done, right? After 1.5 hours or so, you can go back and practice, and everything is then the PDF. Okay, that's why I don't share PPTs. I don't have PPTs. It is PDF. Every instruction is there. Read through the PDF. and then you will be able to remember or recollect what we have done in the class. Okay, any question, you can watch the video, or if you have more question, you can ask me next day, right? Okay, so please watch what I'm doing. Okay, so print, okay, open and close bracket. So command that we need to give will be within this bracket. Okay, so we are saying print, do this. Okay, so what are we doing? So when we say we're writing a program, what are we doing? We are trying to instruct the computer. Okay, we are trying to instruct the machine. Okay, to follow or follow our command. Basically, we are machine. We all know the importance of machine, right? Machine is powerful, can work 24/7, can process faster, blah blah blah. Okay, so what we are doing is we are asking computer, since you are powerful, please do these things for me. Now, machine doesn't understand our language, right? Our language is natural language, which is English, Hindi, Telugu. These are our natural languages. So Python doesn't understand these languages. What does Python understands? Python understands binary language, zeros and one. Okay, machine only understand zeros and one. Okay, power off, power on. That's all. So whatever we want to say, right? And of course we understand natural language, right? There is a gap between what we know and what machine can understand. But since we want machine to work for us, we have to learn the machine level language. Okay, zeros and one. So to avoid learning zeros and one, which can be very complex. Okay, initially when programming started, right, people used to do programming in um, uh, binary language like punch cards will have hole, and the whole portion would be like one because light can pass through it, and non-hole part will be like zero because light cannot pass through it, right? So we were basically programming using computer language, which is zeros and one. Slowly it started improving. Assembly language came. Okay, C was a major programming language, which is still lot of embedded system. In fact, Python was written in C. So the Python program was written in C language itself. So C is again very powerful and supposed to be basis for most of the high level programming language. High level programming language means languages which have commands, instructions closer to English. Okay. Low level means closer to machine. Okay, very closer to zeros and one. High level means it is very closer to English language. Okay. So when we say Python, okay, or we say Java, or we say C++, what are these? These are nothing but they are either compiler or interpreter. So they take our commands, okay, our English command. When I say print, it takes print and converts it into machine level language. Okay, because ultimately machine understands only zeros and one. So interpreter will take the command that we give and convert it into machine level language so that machine can work and give us the output. The output given a machine is converted back to English using this interpreter or compiler. So Java, C, C++, .NET, okay, any program language for that matter, SQL, okay, Python. These are okay. They only convert our command, okay, into machine command and translate back what machine gives output to our language. Okay, so that's why we install this software.exe. Okay, Java Python.exe or Java.exe or CPP.exe. These are that software. We call them as application software. Okay, they're called as application software. They're software, and in that too also we have three categories. And this is application software. Application software. Okay, and in application software, these are language softwares. Okay, even Word document is a application software. Okay, but okay, the purpose of that is different. Purpose of this is different. Purpose of language is different. Okay, so this is about the background of programming languages. Now, when you talk about when you talk about um, compiler and interpreter, okay, so there are two ways, okay, of how this is done. when you say this is translating English language to computer language and converting back from computer language to English language. Okay. One way is, let's say if you have written 10 lines of code, all 10 lines of code is translated at one time. Okay. So compiler, Java, C, C++, they're all compilers. Compiler means, you can write the entire code once, and then when you say run or you say execute, when you say, okay, now machine execute it, the compiler will convert entire lines of code at one go into machine level language. Okay. Interpreter, okay, is does same thing. Okay, converts English to machine level to English, but it does, okay, it does line by line. Okay, so if I write 10 lines of code here, okay, and then when I say execute, it will execute line by line only. Okay, it will take one line, execute it, give you the output, then second line execute. Okay, so let's say when you write C++ program, 10 lines of code. Okay, and let's say you made error in line number 5. Okay, you made mistake in line number 5. So C++ program will not run at all. Okay, since it's converting all the 10 lines, it will ask you to fix the error in line number 5, and then it will execute line number 1 to 10. In Python, again, if you have 10 lines of code and you made mistake in line number 5, it will execute 1 to 4. Okay, because it's line by line, right? So it will execute 1 to 4, and then it will tell you problem is line number 4. You fix it, and then it will start 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's the basic difference between compiler and interpreter, and both of them have their own advantage and disadvantages, right? Generally, interpreters are faster, okay, in execution. Okay, all good so far? Did you understand, especially Karthik, that you're doing for the first time?
Yes,
So
sir.
you understood what we are doing, why are we doing, what is the purpose of programming language, right?
Yes, sir.
Types of programming languages: high level, mid level, low level language. High level means it is closer to English language. Low level means it is closer to zeros and ones, the binary language. Okay,
Yes, sir.
great. So yeah, coming back to our code here, we are writing print. Okay, print is a function which we said that will display whatever we give to it on the screen. Okay, so whatever we give it. So when I give 5, okay, and I go here on the collab and I click run. Okay, so first time it takes time to connect and execute, so it will be a little slow, but second time onwards it will be fast. So when I say print 5, see, it gave me output as 5 here on the screen, right? So collab will give us output immediately. Okay, immediately you get the output here. Okay, so so this is print, and print whatever we give inside the bracket, it is going to evaluate and print. Okay, it is going to evaluate and print. So when I say 5, it will print 5. If I go and say 5 plus 3, okay, if I go and say 5 plus 3, and now when I run it, it will give me 8, because it has evaluated 5 plus 3, and the final answer is given on the screen. Okay, I can write complex formula also. Okay, many people on Facebook, they post this mathematics problem, right? 5 into 4 minus 3 into 4 minus 6 plus 90 divided by 3, whatnot, right? So we can get confused, but Python will not get confused. It will follow the mathematical rule, and output is displayed on the screen. Okay, so whatever we give in the print, that output is executed and displayed on the screen. So now talking about data types. Okay, what are data types? Okay, so see, when I tell you what is 5 into 3, okay, now So in a crude way, data types are like our subjects, right? We have math, science, English, Hindi, these different subjects, right? So depending upon the business, depending upon the problem, oh, it's a mathematics problem, or it is a science problem. Okay, we need to know that before we actually solve, because the answer depends on it, right? The answer that you will give to a riddle from puzzle is different than that you will give to a straight mathematics problem. Okay. The reason is the data. You need to understand the data. If I tell you these are two phone numbers, okay, I'll tell you these are two phone numbers. Will you add the phone numbers together? If I tell you these are my two phone numbers, please save it. Will you add them together and save it?
No, sir.
No, right? You will not add them together. You will save them separately, right? Because when I say phone number, it gives you a special meaning to it. Oh, it's a phone number. If I change even one digit, if I add something, it will not remain the original number, right? But if I tell you these are my marks which I got in class 10th, okay, what will you do? You will total them and find the average. Oh, Saurav has got 80% or 60% or 40% in 10, right? So it depends. Okay, the reason is why I'm saying this is, one thing is number. Okay, second thing is, what is that? Okay, phone number is also a number. 10th marks is also a number. But you don't add the phone numbers and say, oh, this is his average phone number, right? If I have two same, you cannot say this is average phone number of it, right? Because both of them has to be treated uniquely, right? Even if you make one change, it becomes a different number, right? But when I give you marks of my 10th, now you would mentally calculate and see, oh, his average is this, so he's a average student, or he was, studious student, whatever, right? So depending upon the nature of the data, our processing things also change. Okay, and that's why we have to tell Python, okay, is that these are numbers or text or Boolean complex. At basic level, there are five types. At basic level, there are five types of data. Okay, as we go along, we'll learn about the complex data types. Okay, or collections or complex. Complex means we are combining the basic. Okay, so at the basic level, these are the basic data type only. Okay, together multiple basic data type together we form as a complex data type. Okay, basic data types together, when you group them, it forms a complex data type. Okay, so we'll do it later. Okay, but foundation are these five data types. Okay, and I told you these are important because we have to tell Python that this is integer, this is float, because based on the type, Python will be able to perform certain operations. Okay, not every operation can be performed on every data type or every number for that matter, right? So as I said, right, when it's a marks, probably you will add them together and find the average. But if I give you a phone number, you will save as it is. You will not divide, multiply, or add or do anything with that, right? So that's why the nature of data type is important. That's why it is important for us to tell what the data type is and why we are using it. Okay. Okay. So coming back to our discussion on Python here. Um, so I was talking about five basic data types. Okay, five data types. First one is called integer. Int stands for integer. So when you say integer, it means it is minus to plus numbers. Okay, in fact, it is whole number. Okay, when I say whole numbers, it is without decimal part. Okay, when we say whole numbers, these are without a decimal part. Okay, next, second type of basic data type, they are called as float. Okay, float, again positive to negative, just like we have here. Okay, but they will have the decimal part. Okay, WITH with decimal part. Okay, now these are what we call them real numbers, right? Okay, real numbers. So real numbers are called as float in Python. Okay, what it means is it can store decimal value. So for example, 5. Okay, 5 is an integer, but when I say 5.0, 5.0 will become float. Okay, so second basic data type is your float. Third type is called str or string. Okay, this is to store text data. Okay, now if you have in other languages like Java, C++, we have two types of text data. We have character and string. Character is one character, and if you have more than one character, it becomes string. Okay, Python says I don't want to differentiate between one character and multiple character. Whether it is one character or 100 characters, I don't care. All of them are string. Okay, so string will have, okay, one character also, multiple characters also. Okay, doesn't mean that it will have only one character. Okay, it can have any number of characters, one and more than one as well. So text data. Okay, and generally text data we represent in with quotation. We represent text data with quotes. Okay, now quotes you can use single, double, okay, or even triple. Okay, and we will do this when we do string. The next class, okay, Friday, no, Saturday we are planning to meet, right? But Surya, Saturday is holiday, right? So Saturday we will not meet. We'll meet on Sunday. Yeah, please let others know. Okay, and guys, like if you're not able to, if you're not able to complete by tomorrow, let's connect on Saturday for some time. Okay, let's connect on Saturday, and so that on Sunday when we meet, we are all on par with the rest of the batch. So strings is what we're going to start on Sunday. Okay, we'll discuss like what are different functions and different things that you can do on the string. But what it string means, it's a text data. Okay, and you will define the text data in string. So this is the third data type, third basic data type, and fourth one is called bool. Okay, bool stands for Boolean. Okay, it will have either true or false. Okay, only two values, either true or false. Okay, nothing else. Okay, it will not have anything else other than true or false. They're called Boolean. Okay, and this is how we write. Okay, we'll take examples and we'll see, but this is how we write true or false. Okay, the last one, okay, the fifth basic data type is called as complex. Okay, complex, okay, are the numbers that we write to represent -1, right? Not sorry, not -1, square root of -1, right? So again, go back to your maths class, you would have discussed square root of -1. We call it imaginary numbers, right? Imaginary numbers, which is I. Okay, you would have done in mechanics, physics as well, in mathematics as well, in your high school. Okay, so the imaginary numbers are called as complex numbers. Imaginary numbers are called as complex numbers in Python, and it is square root of -1. So if I say 2j square, okay, sorry, I missed that point. Okay, square root of -1 represented as I in maths, but in Python we represent this with j. Okay, we call it as j in Python, which generally we write I in mathematics. That's the only difference, but it's exactly the same. So even in Python, if I say 5j square, what will be the value? We'll do how to do square, we'll see. But when I say 5j square, okay, what will be the value of 5j square?
-5.
minus 25. Okay, 5j square, right? 5, so 5j whole square, that's what I meant to say,
Okay.
right? So yeah, if it is 5j square, if there is no square on 5, it becomes 5 into minus 1, minus 5. Okay, but when you say 5j square, it would be 25 into minus 1, minus 25. Okay, so yep, you got it. Okay, so these are the basic data types that we use in Python, and we know the importance of data types, right? It is to tell that, okay, these are the data types, so that Python is ready to perform the related action. The actions that we perform on numbers are different than what we perform on a string, is different than what we perform on bool, and of course that is different what we perform on complex. Int and float, there are all numbers, right? So more or less they have similar operations. Probably int and float, you can say it's exactly the same, just that decimal part will be taken care of in float, and integer it will not, right? Okay, so let's see how we use these 5 basic data types. Okay, so when I say var1 equal to 5, okay, what does that mean? 5, we know 5 is a number, okay, and we are assigning 5 to something called as variable. Okay, the text name that you see on the left side, they are called as variables. Okay, we call them as variables. So when I say x equal to 5 in mathematics, right, y equal to 5, so we generally form this equation, right? What is the value of what is the value of y when x is 3? Okay, and the problem is y equal to x cube minus 5x square plus x minus 3, right? So what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to replace the value of x in the equation, and then the result will is y. Okay, same concept here. When I say var1 equal to 5, I am defining var1 as a variable. Okay, I can directly say 3 cube minus 2 2 3 square, 2 into 3 square, right? But the reason why we represent them using x is that x, you can change the value, right? Sometimes x can be 1, sometimes x can be 5. Okay, so you don't have to change the equation, you just have to say what is the value of y when x is 3, what is the value of y when x is minus 3. The equation you are not going to change, right? Equation will remain same. That's the beauty of declaring the equation, isn't it? In terms of variables, we also call them as variables, right? So here too we call them variables, and the advantage is that, okay, you can keep on changing the value of the variable as and when you want it. Okay, so I could be using this variable at 10 places. Okay, let's say number of students. Okay, number of student in a branch, okay, is, let's say, 40. Okay, now I can use 40 everywhere. Okay, what is the average, and how many students, and um, how many chairs do we need to buy, right? All these places. Okay, how many chairs we need to purchase. Okay, how many tables, desks we need to purchase, how many books do we need to purchase. Okay, for all these things we need number of student, right? So if you pass, let's say, 200, okay, and everywhere else you write 200, if next time, let's say, number becomes 210, right, or 190, so what will happen is you'll have to go and change it all the different places, isn't it? Which can be one tedious task, and second thing is that more changes you need to make, more chance of making mistake. So instead what you'll do is you will say number of student equal to 200, and number of chairs to buy equal to number of students, number of desks to buy equal to number of student. Okay, number of this to buy equal to number of student. Okay, sometimes you have to say, okay, number of say plates the mess should buy, okay, could be number of student into 3 or 2, whatever, right? So you can write that equation of the form, and if the student changes, if the 200 becomes 100 or to 300, okay, you are not going to change the whole logic, you just change the first line. right? For same purpose, we use variables in Python too. Okay, I can declare a variable 5 and I can use this at multiple places. I can use it to print var1. I can use it to print, okay, or calculate something, calculate 300 or 200 by var1. Okay, I can use it multiple places. And advantage is whenever I need to change the var1 value to 10, 15, 6, I can do it without making any mistake. Okay, I have to just change it to one place, and everywhere else the reference. Okay, I'm using the reference, right? I'm not using the exact value. So everywhere else the value will change. Okay, so I'll take a pause for a minute here. Guys, any question here so far?
No, sir.
Right?
Yes.
No.
Yes, Sachikala?
Noted, sir.
Good. Shivani,
No, sir.
any question? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, you're able to understand it, right?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm more worried about Karthik because Karthik is doing programming for the first time. But you others, Shashi and Shivani, you guys have done. So, you know. But again, whenever you have question, please stop me and ask. Okay. Anytime, any time, if you feel you don't understand, because see, you're going to discuss, more things to come, right? And if you don't understand the foundation, it will become difficult to understand later. I don't mind explaining 100 times also, okay? But when you say no, you really mean no. No doubt means no doubt, okay? So that tomorrow you don't come back and say, no, I have got doubt. Is it clear?
Okay, sir. Yes.
Sir,
Yes. Okay. Okay. So this is the use of variables. Okay. Variable is to us. You saying something, Karthik?
yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, you have mentioned variable 1 equal to 7.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't mention that it's an integer like variable 1?
Correct. Okay. You don't have to mention. You don't have to mention. If I give you a 10-digit number,
Yes.
okay, you know that it's a mobile number.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Python is different than Java or C, C++. In Java, C++, you have to define the data type. You
Okay.
have to define the data type first. Okay. You have to say int var1, float var1, string var1. But Python says, no, I am intelligent. Okay, I am super intelligent. You don't have to tell me. Okay, based on the value that you provide, I know what it is. I can figure out what it is. If you give me a 10-digit number, I know it is a mobile number. If you give me 2-digit number, I know it is a percentage. Okay, if you give me 3-digit number, I know it is cricket match score. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so Python says I'm super intelligent and I can understand. Yes, Python can get wrong. Okay, they can get wrong. So if Python gets wrong, you have option to tell Python, no, what you're thinking is not right. Please change it. Okay, please change it. Okay, and we'll see one example here. Okay, so yes. So now, when I say var1 equal to 7, how do you know or that you know what Python is thinking? Okay, so for that we have a function called as type. So what I'll do is I'm going to I want to print, and in the print inside the bracket I'm going to say type, and type is also a function. Okay, type is also a function. Type should also have bracket. Okay, so what I have done, I wanted to use two functions together. I'm going to use print and type together. So in that case, the one that you want to be executed first, in this case I want type to be executed first and then print the output. So type, I have put it inside print. Okay, type, I have put it inside print because I want type to be executed first and then print. Okay, and you can have multiple, you can have 3, 4, 5 functions, one inside another. And say inside, it means inside that bracket. Okay, first the innermost function will be executed, then the second outer, third outer, finally the outermost function will be executed. Okay, so here I'm saying print and type. What does type do? Type prints the data type of a variable. So type prints the data type of a variable. So if I want to know, okay, I gave a number 7. Python says, okay, I understood what you are trying to tell me, but I want to make sure, okay, what Python really understand, you know. So for that you can use type, and I'm going to say var1. Okay, I want to know what Python is thinking about var1, and when you run it, okay, you see it says class int. We'll talk about what class means when we talk about class and object, but when you see class int, it means Python is thinking this as integer type. Okay, so when you give a number, okay, we have only 5 data types, okay, not more than 5, we have only 5. So when you are giving a number without quotation, it will check, does it have a decimal point or not? No, it does not have. It will automatically assume that number that you are passing is integer. So we don't have to tell the data type. Python understands. Python knows what data type it can be. Okay. Are you doing programming in C++, Java or something, Karthik? Because this doubt should come only to the person who has done the programming in C++, Java.
Yes,
You
sir.
did,
I have done it in C programming while I was in first semester.
right. Yeah, that's right. So when you're coming to Python class, you have to unlearn few things. In fact, you know, based on what my experience says, people who's totally new to programming, they are actually faster to grasp the basic. Okay, of course, when we go beyond advanced courses, your knowledge of Java and C++ will be helpful, because concept wise it's the same, right? It's all, whether you talk about Hindi or English, it'll have same structure, right? It has grammar, it has characters, it has words, you form sentence, right? It's the same thing. The same thing in here, different languages, they have the same foundation, they have the same basic, they have the same rules. Okay, just that some things would be different. Okay, so sometimes, you know, people who, you know, are new to programming, they will find it easier to learn the basic. Okay, basic, I'm saying advanced, of course your knowledge will help. Okay, so yes, so here you don't have to tell Python is intelligent. Okay, and when I say equal to 7, it knows, oh, okay, so you're assigning me integer value. Okay, now when I put that in quotation, we said that text is put in quotation. Same thing if I put in quotation. Okay, now as I said, you can either use single or double quote, okay, or even triple quote. But one thing you have to remember is, whatever you start with, same thing you have to end with. So if I'm starting with single quotation here, okay, if I'm starting with single quotation here, I have to end with single quotation only. If I'm starting with single quotation, I have to end with single quotation only. I cannot use some other quotation. Okay, you can use double. Okay, I can use double here. Okay, then here also I have to use double. Okay, matching quotation, I have to do that. Okay, so when I say var equal to 7 without quotation, Python read it as integer. Now when I say this 7 as quotation, okay, let's see, Python reads it as string, because that's the syntax of string. Okay, syntax means grammar. Okay, grammar of programming language are called syntax. Syntax talks about different rules and the way you would, declare something, the rules. So syntax you have to remember. Okay, there's no shortcut to remember syntax. Syntax, as you practice more, you will get the syntax automatically. Okay, so that's why more you practice, more better you will be, or faster you will be able to program. Okay, because you syntax, all those things you will get mastered, so you will not have doubt. Okay, so going back here, the moment I said quotation, Python knows that, okay, you want to use it like a string, so it converts into string. So we call them as implicit conversion. Implicit, automatically conversion is happening by Python. When I say var1 equal to number 7, okay, when I say number 7, simply 7, it might convert it into numeric. When I said equal to quotation 7, it converted into string. Okay, it is called implicit conversion. But I know, oh no, Python, you are wrong. Okay, 7, though it is written in string format, it is a number. I want you to use like a number. Of course, you can say that. Okay, if you give me a 10 number, okay, automatically I will save it as say phone number. But then you will tell me, no, it is 10 number, but it is my um, whatever ID card number, or it is my driving license number, or whatever, right? It is really not what you think. Okay, so we have to do what is called as implicit conversion. Okay, now if I have to change this var1 to integer, I have a function called as integer. So see, int, float, str, bool, complex, they also have a similar functions. Okay, so here the 7, if you want to convert into integer, I will say var1 equal to int of var1. So var1, okay, int of var1, okay, means it will take the value of var1 and convert into integer of var1, and that value is again stored back to var1. I can use it var2 also, but just to demonstrate you that you can reuse the variables in other languages. Okay, when it's other languages, mostly I'm talking about Java, C++. Once you define a variable to be integer, you cannot store any other value. Okay, but Python is not like that. And Python is an interpreter, so it does not save what you did in previous step. Okay, in Python, in Java, C++, it is saved, but here Python says, "Oh, I don't care." Okay, you know, you want me to do integer, I will do integer. You want me to do float, I will do float. Okay, so here, okay, int of var1, okay, is capability. Okay, it's a int is a function which will take the value of var1 and convert into integers. But mind you, not all values can be converted back, isn't it? Okay, so if I am saying convert this into integer, okay, so let's see this. I'm going to print type of var1, and you see the output here. Okay, so see here var1 was 7, so when I said print type of var1, it gave integer. Now when I'm saying var1 equal to int of var1 and print type of var1, it gives us, what did we get? Speak up, guys.
Integer, sir.
Concentrate. Yes. Shashikala and Shivani.
Yes, sir. Integer.
Integer. Yeah. One more answer, Shivani.
Yes, sir. It's integer.
Integer. Yes, this is integer because we have converted it into, we call it as explicit. We'll talk about it later. So we are forcing it to become integer. Okay. So this is how you are trying to change what Python thinks. Okay. So when I gave, in text, Python knows that, okay, text data are integers. So it took as integer. But I know that, no, that's not integer. I want to use this as number. Okay. So I'll convert into int of, I'll convert into integer. I told you, not everything can be converted into integer. Okay. So for example, let's say, let's see. So instead of 7, I'm going to put ABC, or let's say apple. Okay. So var1 should be fine when I run it.
String.
Okay. So var1 is string, fine. But when I'm trying to convert into integer, that's when it failed. Okay, it gave me error. Apple cannot be converted into integer. So yes, it is possible to convert from one type to another only if it is possible. Okay, only if it is possible. Like 7 you can, apple you can't, right?
Yes.
So you can convert from one data type to another. I'll take a pause for 30 seconds. Just revise what we have done in your mind and let me know if you're okay to proceed further.
Okay.
All good so far, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes.
string means we have only alphabets, or we can also have numbers.
Alphabet is anyway there, as you said. Numbers you can have it. Okay, just now I did 7, isn't it?
Yes, yes,
So that you
that.
can have it. You can have your special character as well. Okay. So
Okay.
string is everything. Everything that you can think of, you can put it in string,
Mhm.
right?
Yes,
Special
sir.
character, French character, Portuguese characters, those ASC characters, everything can be put it in string.
Okay.
Okay. So what we have done is we have seen two data types, right? We have seen integer and we have seen string. Okay. We will discuss later what all operations we can perform. Okay. So if not today, tomorrow we can do it. Let's first understand the different data types that are there in Python. So this is called string data type. Okay. So int of, I can say, 99. Okay. So here, of course, now it will be type integer, right? We have converted into 99. Same thing if I do, now let me use different var2 equal to 56.0, and then I go and say print the
Okay.
var2, right? 56.0 is your float type. You get float. Okay. Now coming to the fourth type, which is Boolean. Okay. So there are some situations, okay, where, see, if you look at the kind of decision that we make in life, there are only two types of decision. Okay. One decision is number, how much. Okay. When should I do it, today, tomorrow? Okay. How much should I pay? So that's number, now or later, right? So those are, uh, you know, so okay. So again, because anyway, you are all here for machine learning as well, right? So we can talk about it. Okay. So decision that if you think, okay, are mainly two types. One is number, how much should I pay, right? Okay. And second is because categorical. Categorical data means you have options, and it has to be one of the two options. Okay. So grade, for example, a great example of categorical value. Okay. Because you know all the grades, 5 grades or 4 grades or 6 grades that your university might have, right? But we don't know who's going to get what grade. But all the 6 grades are there, and for every student, you have to pick one of the 6. So when you have options and you're picking something from that option, it is called as categorical data, categories. Okay, like gender. Okay, qualification. These are all your categories. So either in life you can think of. Okay, if right from morning we get up and night that we sleep, we are making a lot of decisions. Right? What should I eat? When should I go? What should I do? Right? So you're making two types of decision. Okay, how much, that number, and second is options. Okay, so in options also we have two types of options. First type is yes no kind of decision. Okay, and second type is when you have multiple options, right? Okay, so fruits, which fruit should I buy? So when you think of which fruit should buy, and when you're in front of store and you have only 5 fruits displayed, you can buy only one of the 5, right? So that is called categorical value. Okay, but let's say you see apple, should I buy apple or not? That is a yes no decision. For category only, but special category where you are making yes no decision. Okay, so Boolean is used for yes no. So the expression that we put in Boolean, okay, is only two option possible, which is either yes or no. That's it, right? So how do you define the value false? False is for 0, and if I have to define value 0, I will say, okay, var 3. Let me use var 3 equal to false. Okay, now see here one thing. It looks like text, right? because we are writing text, but it is a special text. Okay, special because of the spelling. F capital ALSE, false. So what Python has done is Python has saved these two values, false and true. Again, true, T capital RUE. Okay, these two values are stored as a special values which says that okay, this is to indicate the Boolean value. Okay, if I make it all small or all caps, then it will not be. Okay, see, it was blue color again. No, it is no longer your Boolean value. It is no longer your Boolean value. Okay, so it is going to throw error because it is assuming that it is a variable because we have not given the quotation. Okay, now if I want to declare this as text, I can put as quotation. Okay, if I put as quotation and let me do sprint. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to say var3 equal to false like this, and I'm going to say f like this. Okay, so first var3 I put quotation, second var3 I have not put quotation, but spelling is different. Okay, okay, so now you see the first one is, oh, I'm saying var2 here. That's not one thing. Wait, the output come. Okay, make it var3. So when you say var3, okay, it became here it is a string type. Okay, second last print is this, right? So this false has become string because we have put it in the quotation. Okay, this one is your Boolean type, bool. Okay, and it has 22 values, right? False and true. Okay, so we'll talk about Boolean also, when to use, how it is used, okay, in some time. The next one that we're going to talk about is called complex. So I say var4 equal to 5 plus 2j. So when I say 5 plus 2j, it means that 5 is an integer part, okay, and it has an imaginary part, 2j. Okay, j is like I. Okay, in mathematics, right? We write I, and mathematics and physics, and here we write j. Okay, so when I say 5 plus 2j, it means I'm talking about a complex value. Okay, and you can check the data type. So I can copy this and I can put it here. Okay, and I'm going to say 4. Okay, now you see it is going to be complex. Okay, so these are the 5 basic data types that we're going to use. Okay,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
one more yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Now, what we'll do is we will look at some of the operations that can be performed. Okay. Complex, we are not going to use for our work. Okay. For even for machine learning, complex is not used. So what I'll do is we'll just take an example of complex and we'll forget it for now, right? So of course, the other 4 are very helpful. Okay, others 4 will be using a lot. Complex we won't be using. Okay, after today onwards. Okay, so let's finish up that first. Okay, so here I can go back and I can say where, okay, let's say where 5 equal to 5 minus 2j, and I'm going to say print where 4 into where 5. Tell me, what do you expect the output to be? Where 4 into where 5. So where 4 you can see is of type, if you see 5 as A and 2j as B, it is A plus B. Okay, and your where 5 is what? 5 minus 2j. It's like A minus B. What is A plus B into A minus B?
A square minus B square.
A square minus B square, right? So A square minus B square. What is A square?
25.
25 minus, what is B square?
4 into J square.
4j square. What is j square?
Minus 1.
So what is 2j square?
Plus 4, sir.
No, minus 4, right?
Yeah. J square is minus 1. I am telling overall 25 plus.
Overall, we will do it next step.
Yeah.
So overall, okay, is minus of minus plus. So 25 plus 4 should be 29. Okay. Now you see. So this is, so we started with a complex number. We end up getting a integer number. 29 is integer number, right? Okay, fine. Okay, one thing you have to remember is whatever you start with, Python will try to use same data type as much as possible. Okay, so we started with complex and we have to end with complex only. So if I have to convert 29 into complex, how will I do it? 29 if I type, it becomes integer, but we started with complex, we have to end with complex. So how do we make this as complex? I'll say plus 0j, right? Not O, but 0. 0j, right? 0j means there is no value of j, but it becomes complex type, and that's what the output would be. Okay, so see here 29 plus 0j. Okay, so for example, I can do this print type of 29. When I say 29, of course, it has to be integer, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, integer. But if I say 29 plus 0j, it would become complex, right? So that's why it is displaying as 0j. So this is how your complex numbers are done. Okay, so you can perform plus, minus, okay, exactly what you would do in mathematics. Okay, and we'll stop our discussion on complex here. We will not talk about it, but complex is square root of -1. So complex j and is represented as j square will be -1. That is sufficient to know. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll spend some time on the print, and then we'll come back to what operations can perform on these variables. So now we knew that Python has 5 basic variables, 5 basic data types, not variables, 5 basic data types. Those data types are int, float, string, bool, and complex. Complex we have seen, and we will not discuss further. 4 things we have to discuss. Okay. So before we discuss that, let's talk about print. What is print? Print function, as we have seen, okay, we would have probably used print more than 10 times. Okay, this print function displays whatever we give inside the content. Okay, so if I say print var 5, it is going to print var 5, which is 5 minus 2j, isn't it? Print. If you want to print the value as it is, not as a evaluation. For example, we discussed, right? 5 into 4 will give us 20. Okay, 5 into 4 will give us 20, right? But if I want 5 into 4 to be displayed as it is, then I have to put them in the quotation. Quotation will make them string, and when you print string, it is printed as it is. So 5 into 4, okay, Python assume that it is an integer, and it converted 5 into 4 as 20. Okay, but now we know that 5 into 4 is not a number, okay, because we want to use it like a string. Okay, so to do that, you put it under quotation. When you put in a quotation, Python will know, okay, this is not a number, this is this is a string. Yeah, this is a string, and this needs to be printed as it is, 5 into 4. I want exactly 5 into 4. That's why I'll put them the quotation. Okay. So yeah. Now what we have to understand is this print, okay, can take combinations of text and a variable. Okay. You don't have to give only text, or you don't have to give only variables in the print. Print can accept any number of, we call them as parameters or variables, value that you pass here, right? When I say type of 20 plus 0, 29 plus 0j, okay, here, next line. Okay, this is an example of parameter. We pass a parameter to it. Okay, so let's say, let's do an example here. I say print good morning all. Okay, so here what I've done, I've given only one parameter to print, which is good morning all. I want to print, let's say, a number. Good morning all. It's okay. It's okay. So when I run it, it is going to print as it is. Good morning all. Full stop. It's, and then I will say 8. Okay, I've given this value outside. Now this 8, if I can put it inside also, it would be same meaning. Okay, it will be same meaning. Okay, but let's say if I'm using a variable 1 equal to, so what we are putting, variable 1 is the variable name, right? Variable var1 is the variable name of 8. Now in this case, okay, if I put var1, okay, it will print var1 as it is, which is not what we want. We want the value of var1. So I'll put var1 outside this quotation. Okay, when I put outside this quotation, I get 8. So a couple of things here. If you want some value to be printed, or value of variable to be printed, or evaluation to be done, you put them outside the quotation. You have to put it outside the quotation. Okay, and the quotation value and the variable values should be separated by a comma. Comma indicates that, oh, there is something on the left, there is something on the right. You are passing two different parameters. If I delete it, it is going to give me error. Okay, because in this case it is expecting var1 to be inside the quotation. It say, okay, you close the quotation too soon, right? The quotation should be closed later. Okay, to tell Python, oh, okay, no, Python, this is not what I meant. I meant that, okay, this is one parameter which is your fixed text, and this is another parameter for which I want the value to be displayed, not the variable name. If you want to display the variable name, then you would put the var1 inside the quotation. If you want its value to be displayed, then I'm going to say comma. Okay, so I'll say good morning all, it's 8, and let's say I want to write am here. So I'll say comma am. Okay, now when you run it, okay, so you see good morning all, it's 8 am, right? So this is replaced with value 8, and you have text, fixed text, okay, on the left, fixed text on the right, in between we have 8. So it will give output as good morning all, it's okay, exactly the same the way we have given in the quotation, and then var1, the value of var1 will come here, and then exactly the way I've given am here. I can make it as 80 also. If I make it as 80, it becomes 80 am, right? Or, you know, if I have to give colon, then I can't do it like that, isn't it? I have to give it like a string, right? So when you run it, okay, you get it's 8 am, right? We'll stop here for today. Okay, we'll continue from this from where we left tomorrow as well. Let me know if you have any question. Is it better?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it is what we want, right? Okay,
Yes.
so I hope that there is no problem with it. Everything is clear. Let
Yeah.
me know. Okay, if you have any question, please ask me. Okay, and tomorrow also you can ask me. Okay, so this recording will be made available to you. Please practice, and if you have any questions, do ask me.
Okay.
100% it's all clear, no doubt.
Sir,
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
sir, if in variable 1,
Mm-hmm.
if we put as 8 a.m.
Yeah, you can do it 8 a.m. and see, you can do it 8 a.m. Okay, I can delete this one here. Okay, so of course you can do it. Okay,
Yeah.
but let's say you are getting this time in 24 hours. Somebody will say 16. Okay, then 16. Then you'll have to calculate. Is it more than 12? Okay, that's a thing. We'll do it in if. Yeah, you can do it. In fact, okay, if you're not using as a variable, because everything is text, you can even give it inside only, right? 8 a.m. Okay, if you're not using as a variable, then you can give directly because all three are text. But
Yes,
let's
yes.
say if you want to read from the user, okay, if you want to read from the user, that's when you'll say 8, okay, a.m. and then you can say here. So yeah, it depends upon the problem that you're trying to solve. Okay, what is given and what is expected from you. You in the sense from your program. Okay, so yes, you can use in multiple ways.
Sir, one more.
Yes,
If I didn't put that variable 1 in the quotation,
it'll give error because without quotation you can only give integer, float,
yes.
Boolean, or complex,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
So all the other four, complex, Boolean, integer, float, doesn't use quotation. Okay, so 8:00 is neither a integer nor a float. It is even not a Boolean or even your complex, right? So you cannot put it, will give error. Yes, 8 you can put it without that. True you can put without quotation. Okay,
Yes, sir.
8J you can put without quotation, but 8:00 you cannot put without quotation.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Right? Okay. Any other question? Shashikala, you were also asking
No,
something,
sir.
right? Yes. No, yes, maybe. Okay. So shall we end it here? Shivani, did you understand? कोई question है आपको?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
No, sir.
Okay.
No questions.
No question. Great. Okay. Anytime you can stop me and you can ask. Okay. So we'll end it here. Just go, please practice. Okay. Computer programming is like mathematics. Okay. When you see it, it will be easy to understand. But when you start doing it, then you get doubt. Okay, should I put space here? Should I put comma here? Should I put bracket here? Should I put single quote here? Right? All this doubt you will get when you start doing it. Okay. Should I put J before number or after number? When I was learning Python 7, 8 years back, I had this doubt. Should J be after number or before number? Right? Should be J2 or 2J? Right? So those things, well, you will get it only when you practice it. Okay. Once you practice it, then you become, it will come to you easily, and then you can write complex programs as well. Okay, everyone, take care, have a good day ahead, and we'll see you tomorrow at same time. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, take care, bye.